This backlog's never going away, is it? Howdy good hunter, it's me. Best hunter. No, for real. Man, last time I've been in front of the camera. It's been a while, actually. I'm 30 pounds lighter, not that you can tell, because I'm all bundled up. But, better than that, today we're going to be unboxing this big old boy right here. This is the Bloodborne board game I backed on Kickstarter a million years ago. And I didn't buy any of the additional add-ons or anything, but this comes with the board game, the Bloodborne box, the Chalice Dungeon, and Mergo's Loft expansions. Let me put this shit on the floor. Mergo's Loft comes with 9 minis. Well, 8 enemy and 1 boss, whatever. This is Chalice Dungeon. Oh man, it's got a lot more. 4 hunter minis, 26 enemy minis, and 5 boss minis. Core game? Oh no, this is the Bloodborne box. And then also comes with 6 hunter minis, 18 enemies, 1 boss, and 4 dolls? Why does it come with 4 dolls? I ain't arguing, but... And finally, the core game. Actually, you're in the way. Get out of here. Core game looks like it comes with 37 minis for... Oh, no. That's all of them. All the other boxes specified hunter, boss, and enemy minis, but the core game just says 37 minis. So, you get 37 minis. Man, they all look pretty good. Well, no point in just sitting here staring at the box. Let's crack this shit open. So, I'm going to take it from this view and take it to my usual view with my shittier camera. So, you're welcome. Alright, we're going to start off by looking at the core set. Damn, why are these things always like vacuum sealed? There we go. Alright, so we start off with a little pamphlet, or advertising slip, I guess. I don't really know what you call these. Looks like the core rulebook. Hey, it looks pretty good. Overview of everything you get. Let me actually go back and get that on camera. 4 hunter minis, a handful of enemy minis, and actually more bosses than I expected. You've got both forms of Gascoigne, Blood-Starved Beast, Vicar Amelia, and Cleric Beast. Not bad. Everything over here looks like hunt board, the map tiles, all these hunter related stuff. Enemy cards, I guess that's the AI deck. Campaign card, and a shit ton of tokens. Alright. Oh, speaking of a shit ton of tokens. Yeah, it looks like you just punch these out. Same thing on the back. Map tiles. So it looks like you just punch these out of this little frame. I will say the Bloodborne board game was made by Come, and I know I'm going to be comparing it to the Dark Souls board game that came out a few years ago. The Dark Souls board game was made by a different company. Their map tiles, each map tile was about the size of this right here. I really like these smaller tiles because that Dark Souls board game, you could fill an entire table with those tiles at times if you really wanted to. But I enjoy the fact, yeah, these look like they have doors. I imagine it'll be the same kind of placement where you connect door tiles to one another and make a map. If you're going to make some kind of sprawling dungeon crawl, I vastly prefer the smaller tiles, and it looks like these all have different interactions as well. The Grand Cathedral, interact on any space, you can heal too. And they're really detailed too. I like these. I like these a lot actually. Are they double-sided? Okay. They are not double-sided. Even more. Oh man, you get quite a bit. And I do like the variety. Because like you got over here like a bridge, Tomb of Eden, 2 different looking chapels and cathedrals. This one you get Yosefka's clinic. Oh, ah. Alright, well, he fell off. So this is what looked like was referred to as the hunt board. Not quite sure what that is. It is not double-sided. Looks like some kind of tracker at the bottom. Maybe this is like a general game tracker. I need to read the rules, so I'm not going to try interjecting what I think it is. Welcome home, good hunter. Thanks. These the minis, maybe? Oh, there's more stuff at the bottom. Alright, we're going to put this aside for now. We're going to take a look at this. Okay, oh, okay. These are the trick weapons. You get 1, 2, 3, 4. Saw Cleaver, Ludwig's Holy Blade, the Hunter Axe, and the Threaded Cane. Each one has their own particular moveset, I suppose. If I remember correctly from one of the email updates they sent out, this is attack speed and this is damage. And then you modify the attacks mid-combat? I'm not quite sure. Like I said, I have to read the rules. But I think, yeah, these are all double-sided as well. So what you do is you've got one form of the weapon, and then to transform the trick weapon, you flip it. That looks pretty good on camera. I'm going to do it again. Let's check out the other ones. A threaded cane. Oh, I guess this dude's just holding the cannon. Okay. Not bad. I like the artwork. I'm not quite sure if it's a, like, existing artwork or if it was done specifically for the game, but it's very nice. It's very, very appealing. Hunter Axe is the starting weapon of, you know, Chads. Ooh, and it looks good. Ludwig's. Ooh, baby. I tell you what, guys. A giant sword, or a giant weapon in general, that's where it's at. Hunter Dashboard. Slot for a trick weapon. So I guess these are individual player trackers. And I guess... okay. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, man. Now this is nice. A nice big tray to keep everything organized. I like this a lot. Is there anything under it? Oh, it's kind of heavy. Okay. So, that is everything inside the box. I very much enjoy this organizing tray. I don't buy a lot of board games. And the Dark Souls board game is the one that immediately comes to mind just out of similarities. And, you didn't get a tray like this. I'm glad this exists. Looks like you get some kind of NPC or enemy deck. Consumables. I think these are the card modifier decks. Put that there. Items. More of these modifier cards. Enemy AI deck. Boss deck. And I think these are the campaign cards. I think that's what it said. But you get 2 of those. 2 decks in that one stack. I think this is another campaign. And another. And another. I'm not quite sure how everything is supposed to get organized onto the board. This looks like the token tracker, obviously. these little sections over here, they're labeled 1, 2, 3, and 4. I imagine if you wanted to go through multiple campaigns, you could use these for like keeping track of character or like player shit. I'm really not sure, but Alright, well, let's move all of this and check out that cardboard box. I imagine that's where the minis are. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, this is just a little separate bit on top. Well, kind of an interesting packaging choice. What do we have here? Okay, we got the hunters. Oh, I noticed that some of the player character boards were color-coded. Maybe these rings go around each of the player character. I mean, I figured the weapon type would be enough to distinguish them. I don't really know how necessary these little hoops are. They are nice and colorful though, so. They snap in, and there you go. You are now Purple Hunter at a distance. Like I said, they're all visually pretty distinct from each other, so I'm not really sure how necessary these are, but they are nice. And they do have a hoop in the bottom so you can push them out pretty easily. I'm curious. This is a 25mm base. Oh, okay, yeah. That matches up pretty well, actually. So, all of the Hunter minis are on 25mm bases. And that's very good to know if you decide to rebase these in the future. If you use a properly round 25mm base, these still snap onto it. And it comes off just fine. I'm not quite sure how rebasing any of these would go, considering the fact that they're kind of in slots to measure the size they currently are. So let's say Mr. Saw Cleaver here. If you take him off the base, which, looking at it, I really don't see a good way to do besides slicing under the foot with an X-Acto, which also brings the risk of cleaving his foot off. But assuming you even get him off, there's a fairly good chance you're going to destroy the original base in the process. But even all that, let's say you don't even give a shit about the original base. Even if you put a little bit of basing material up top, well, I guess if you're using flocking or sand of some sort, you could just sprinkle it on top and call it a day. But there's a fairly good chance that your hunter is going to look like he's standing in like half an inch of dirt. Let's say you want to use like a cobblestone texture roller or something. Even if you put a really thin layer of green stuff or milliput or any kind of epoxy sculpt on top and then roll your texture on, then put your hunter on top, that's still going to leave a little bit of distance. And some of these minis may not be able to fit back in the original packaging if you do that. Now, like I said, I haven't really looked at it too close. I'm unboxing this for the first time here, so I'm just kind of having these thoughts out loud. But if you have some kind of alternate storage available, that might not be a problem. And I honestly think a cobblestone texture roller would do wonders with this, considering that most of the game takes place in Yarnum. So, from the looks of these are, I think on the site it said these are 28mm minis, but it's fairly important to know that these are not heroic scale. Going back to the hunters, they are appropriately 28mm scaled. Let me grab a test mini here. So you see here compared to the test mini, this is from Hero Forge with some little bit of green stuff. If you look, the Bloodborne mini has like an appropriately sized head and hands, limbs. It looks in proportion. Friend on the left over here, his head and his hands are a little bigger, This is heroic scale. This is not. Now, if I'm wrong, which I'm fairly sure I'm not, feel free to correct me, but it is important to note, this is not heroic scale. Now, as I'm putting these away, I just realized something. You kind of got the whole standard video game color, you know, red player 1, blue player 2, and green player 4, but why purple player 3? Maybe it just kind of conditioned from games always being, you know, yellow being player 3, but purple? Kind of an odd choice. I mean, you could argue that yellow doesn't fit the aesthetic, but I mean, so do giant colored hoops around your base. Maybe I'm thinking about this too much. I think I am. So, let's go back and take a look at some of the minis. This right here, if I can get them in frame, there we go. This is Father Gascoigne, or as I like calling him, Father Gascoigne. He looks really good, actually. I don't remember if the handle of the hunter's axe is curved that much. Is this... feels like it's curled a little more than it needs to be, but it's not a straight handle. I'm not sure. Thankfully, I guess I'll go ahead and mention this, is that these minis appear to be PVC, so very, very flexible, and if you drop this, there's absolutely... okay, I'm not going to say that. There's a very low chance that you're going to damage something when you drop this mini. PVC, for those who, I guess, aren't as experienced, if you mess around with the Reaper Bones line, that's probably the most prominent line of PVC miniatures, and if you have any of those, you know you could throw those in the washing machine and they'd be fine. You'd be more worried about the paint at that point. But these are very, very, very durable minis. Let's take a look at Transform Gascoigne. He looks good. Not bad. We have a small retinue of werewolf boys here. Where's my thumb on? Okay. Okay, so I see the models were on pegs that were inserted into the base. If you were going to rebase these, cutting these nubs might be the way to go, because that would obviously release the connection. And you might be able to salvage most of the original base if you do it that way. See, I bought this game mostly for the miniatures. I like Bloodborne, but the Dark Souls board game out of the box had some problems, which are mostly easily fixed with a few house rules. I haven't played this game yet, obviously. This is the unboxing. So I'm not sure if I'm going to like it as much as the Dark Souls board game, because even if it does have problems, it's still a very fun game. I like this. I really like this mini, actually. I remember this cunt in game. That seems a little wobbly there. But I don't think it would be a problem. You'd have to try to snap that. I feel like I was talking about something important and then I lost my train of thought. So I'm just going to leave it there, actually. I'm going to go ahead and mention how much I fucking hate these dudes. I use these dudes to practice. Anyways, I use these dudes to practice getting good at riposts. And they always found some way to make that much harder than I wanted. So I know for a fact this brick is going to be painted with a lot of blood. I'm going to take my hoodie off. Why is it so damn hot in here? It's fucking January. Alright. Looks like a little mob. I can almost hear these dudes now. Away! Away! And then they burn you for way too much damage. And you're like, oh fuck, what? So you get 4 of these dudes, or 4 groups of these mobs, and they are all the same sculpt. Whenever you see a miniature that isn't a boss, the sculpts are always duplicates, which I feel may be disappointing. I mean, I guess it'd be nice to have the variety, but there are ways you can introduce variety into similar minis. Like this, for example, you don't have to paint them all the same way. Different colors definitely help to mask some of the repeating sculpts. And I feel like these mob guys would definitely be a prime example of that. I don't know why, but the dude on the right just kind of looks like he's built for like a red jacket. I'm gonna give him a red jacket, probably. Looking at these big giant guys. Not sure if that's supposed to be curved. I don't remember, but giving it a general feel, this doesn't feel like it's bent out of shape. I think it's supposed to be like that. Anyways, these are, compared to the regular hunter, yeah. they definitely get the size difference. A little bit of texturing problem on the back of these minis, or back of this mini in particular. I guess, I'm not sure if that's intentional texture. Regardless, I think it works. Bloodborne is a pretty down and gritty series, so I think having some texture like that helps add to, like down here, you have some texturing at the bottom of the cloak that'll really add to the weathered look. And I think you can kind of blend that in. Even if it is a manufacturing error, I think in this case it works out. Why is there a hole under here? Taking a look at some of the bosses now. Let's look at Bloodstarved. Bloodstarved Beast is an asshole, but when on my first playthrough, I used the best hammer, the Kirk hammer, and I actually managed to get Bloodstarved Beast on my first try. Something which I've never been able to replicate ever again. It seems like Bloodstarved always finds a way to kill me at least once. I like the skin flaps here. They have a decent texture by themselves, but maybe this could probably benefit for some retexturing. Maybe? I feel like as it is, it looks pretty okay. You could definitely do something to it though, like, I've got that tutorial on how to make like really easy, like warped flesh, and I think draping a little bit over it, not to entirely cover up the original texture, but just enough to kind of introduce a little variation in there, I think it would make it look really well, and it would definitely help set it apart from the other Bloodstarved Beasts that people paint up. Also, this is a weird fucking base. It's like one of those, like, ovular biker bases, but not. Might be the first time I've seen a base like that for a mini. In my experience, I guess. Alright, here's Vicar Amelia. At a glance, looks very good. The fur texture here actually comes out pretty well. This is a surface that would definitely benefit from a dry brush. I do see some gaps in the assembly, but I don't think that really be worth fixing, considering the fact that you'd have to hold it like that to see it in the first place. And some of the gaps, most of the gaps I've seen in the assembly of these miniatures, you have to really go out of your way to find, which is great because there's just one less thing you have to deal with down the line. Small parts, like you can see the assembly line right there. You can tell the top half of her head was slotted onto the neck and lower jaw, which were sculpted at once, and then the head was kind of slotted on. But I mean, that's that's the smallest errors right there. And they're not even really errors, it's just a part of the assembly. Going out of your way to fix that would take all of 5 minutes, if it even bothers you in the first place. Cleric Beast. I love Cleric Beast. Although, not quite sure how I like him standing on this little pedestal. Seems a little out of place. None of the other miniatures are modeled with any terrain, except him. Yeah, I really enjoy all the different textures on these models. You've got smooth skin with a little bit of muscle texture. You have this kind of fuzz, which looks kind of like ass at a glance, but whenever you paint it black and dry brush it, it's going to look great. All this long flowing fur, which, same way, it's going to look great. This is a nice mini. And big, imposing. Look at that. Fits. Look at that fit in my hand. That's a boss. So I realize I've spent a lot of time on the core box when I've got 3 other boxes to go through. However, I feel like not only do the other boxes just have a little bit less content in general, there are going to be some people down the line who only buy the core box. So I figured I'd spend a little more love here. That being said, we're not going to spend as much time on the other boxes. We'll probably only mainly look at the minis, just because I don't want to open up all the cards, have everything out and loose and whatnot. So, let me put the cover back on this, and we'll go to, I guess, the Blood Moon expansion. Next on the list, Blood Moon box. Okay, this one's obviously set up a little bit differently. Oh, come on. Why is it all... Oop. There we go. Alright, what trick weapons come in this expansion? Tantirus? No. Tonitrus, that's it. I don't know, man. I misread it the first time I ever saw this weapon, and some kind of deep-rooted handicap set in. Every time I look at this weapon name, I always mispronounce it. We got the Blade of Mercy, or I guess the Blades of Mercy. Haha. See what I did there? See what I did there? We got Ludwig's Blade, a Ludwig's Uncanny Holy Blade, which we got the wheel, boys. Look at that. My favorite weapon in the entire game. The Kirkhammer. And the Burial Blade. Never been a big fan of the Burial Blade, but some people swear by it. We have more monster cards. New firearms. Boss cards. Oh, tape. Well, I feel like an idiot. Alright. Alright, so I noticed in this expansion that these all come with the lanterns, and there are some chests in here as well. And the original game, or the core box, has tokens for these treasure chests. This game, or this expansion, actually comes with sculpted treasure boxes. Nice little, nice touch. Let's take a look at the doll. Honestly, looks great. My only question is, why does the box come with 4 dolls? A little bit of a sprue mark there. Sitting right next to some fine detail, so be careful on that one if you're gonna shave that down. But yeah, there's 4 dolls in here. I'm not sure why. I guess you can paint one like the original doll and then have multiples for something else. I don't know. I feel like I would only ever use one doll if you are actually going to use these at all. So maybe I'll just paint one up for the hell of it. The doll gives me like really big like android vibes, so I think I'd paint one like Dorothy Wainwright from Big O. I love her. Quick, don't look if you're afraid of spiders. Fairly good texture on the mini itself. You can kind of see, like I was kind of right in my assessment about these being a peg assembly. But this is the only one that I've noticed so far where the peg is really noticeable. However, I don't think it really detracts from the model in this case, because I imagine most people are going to paint these minis in kind of a nitty-gritty style, which are probably going to benefit from a black primer base coat anyways. That's going to hide that peg especially well. And even then, you have to look at the spider from up front to even see it. Most of the time, you're going to be looking at it like this. You're not going to see it. This one's kind of hard to get back in for some reason. It's kind of hard, kind of a bitch to take out. Nice. Take a look at some of the hunters. Man, I really like the Ligarius wheel. Oh, my boy, my boy. Oh, my boy. My son. Look at him. He's beautiful. Look at all that excess right there. That's the first mini I've seen so far with excess molding. And on my son, nonetheless. You bastards. Oh, funnily enough, if you look closely in there, he doesn't have a neck. That's a nitpick. I love this mini. This one's supposed to be the Holy Blade. Kind of disappointing it's not tricked, but, you know. Blades of Mercy. Tonitrus. Yeah, I did it this time. And the Burial Blade. This one's big. Going back to comparing it to the Dark Souls board game real quick. The Dark Souls board game also used PVC miniatures, but it felt really flimsy. The sword on the knight character is just horribly bent out of shape. I managed to fix it with some boiling water, but over time it curls back to its original position. I don't see any of these minis having that problem, thankfully. It seems like all the thin, fiddly bits are thick enough to hold their position. What does this dude wielding? I just realized that. What is this? Why do I not remember that? I don't remember this dude at all. He looks good, but like, who are you? Yeah, some of these minis could do from a straightening out. Like I said, for these PVC miniatures, put them in some boiling water, take it out, hold it in position, like this blade here, dunk the whole blade into boiling water, hold it like this, and whenever it cools off, it'll hold that position. But yeah, I really like the texture, all the different textures on these minis. It seems like this would be pretty fun to paint. I'm not going to immediately start painting these, just because I've got, you know, enough shit on my plate already. But all of these minis look very, very good. And we'll take a look at the big old spider. Also, one modeled with its own terrain. Alright, let's take a look at the next box. I figured we'd do Mergo's Loft next, because not only is it physically the smallest box, but content-wise there's not much in here as well. This one, unlike the Blood Moon expansion, actually comes with its own area. And looking at the effect, man, these lights. Enemies and hunters staggered on pit space are slain. So, just 2 giant instant death spots. It's pretty funny. But in here, just like the other expansions, we got the enemy cards. We got this deck. Another AI deck, I believe. Unlike the other ones, not much in here. No big cardboard sleeve or whatnot. Here's one of the minis. Can't say I'm too impressed by this mini in particular. It kind of just serves its purpose. Looks, I don't know, it looks a little dated. I do see some intricate sculpting there on the breastplate, but at the same time, it's not very impressive. It works, it's just not wowing me. These minis, I like them at a glance. Multiple textures, I like all the chain mail. Face looks a little derpy, but that's just me. This right here, a little bit too flexible for my tastes, but I don't think, if worst nightmare scenario, you know, this gets thrown off a cliff or whatever, at the most this is just gonna bend. I don't think that's at risk of snapping, but if you were paranoid about it, the handle comes dangerously close to the belt. You could put some glue there and push it into the, and glue it right there. You'd make that much more rigid, so you would only have to deal with that bend right there. So it feels a little wobbly, but you can fix it with a little glue to give it a little more stability. But at the end of the day, you really don't gotta. And the boss. I gotta say, even though this boss was a massive cunt in game, this looks great. All this rough texture. It's hard to imagine doing anything but dry brushing this texture, because no one wants to manually highlight all that, and a dry brush is going to make this look better than you know. It's going to make it look better than a regular highlighting would. Well, yeah, I'll say that. No one's going to manually highlight this fucking thing, and if you do, you're probably a masochist anyways, so you're going to enjoy it. Alright, the last expansion, the last vacuum sealed box we'll be dealing with today. Come on. There we go. The Chalice Dungeon. Oh. Okay, this one has alternate rules. And a component list. I like that. The Blood Moon box didn't have anything like this, even though it was about the same size in content, which I figured, you know, at least just one page, you know, just this page right here, that would have been fine. The Mergo's expansion didn't really need it because there wasn't much in it, but I very much appreciate little inventory sheets like this. Looks like PvP rules. Yeah, PvP rules. It goes all the way up to 4 people as well. The game only ends when all but one hunter has been eliminated. So yeah, if you want to murder your friends, this is the expansion to do it. More tiles. Are these? No, okay, these are not double-sided as well. Arena gate. Cannot move onto arena until both arena gate levers are unlocked. Okay. Oh, okay. Just 2 individual areas. I thought they were going to be like tokens or something. This is new. I have no fucking clue what these are, but I know who does know. Shasha. PvP screens. Okay. Okay, so I guess you hide your board with it, so your opponents can't see what you're doing. I mean, your friend Dave is probably a screen cheating cunt anyways, so this'll help. Fuck you, Dave. Alright. Cards for the other weapons. We got the Beast Claw. Shasha. We've got every weeaboo's wet dream. Stake Driver. Oh, it gets one attack, but damn, it hit hard. It hits hard. And the Rifle Spear. Look at that dude. That dude's just here to have a fun time. And the cardboard sleeve that's... Oh, cool. It started off being vacuum sealed, and I was going to complain, but it learned to cooperate with me. Let's crack open some miniatures. Okay, looks like it's got the same two-tier design as the core box did, except this one has all the cards. Let's just kind of look at them for inventory's sake. Oh, this one has a much smaller, or a much bigger little deck. Alright, so let's start with the hunters. This is Mr. Stake Driver. Looks pretty good. Stake's a little bent. Not the end of the world. The untricked Chikage. Doesn't quite look like a katana on the sculpt. I guess if you were particular, you could bend that upwards. Get a little bit of that katana curve action back onto the mini. At the moment, it kind of just looks like a saber. I guess that makes it look more like a saber, but whatever. Not the end of the world. I like the jacket. I like that. Mr. Party. I was expecting the Rifle Spear to actually be, victim of this bending, but it actually comes out pretty well. Although there's a little bit of excess molding on some parts of the sculpt. I've always liked the Beast Claw. What a fun weapon. What else we got? We got scorpion fuckers. Yep, they're fucking scorpions. We got the I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do a lot of Chalice Dungeons. Not very familiar with her. But she does have very good sculpting on her dress. It's going to pick up a lot of detail, a lot of highlighting there. If you are going to be rebasing these minis, I can see this dress being a problem because it's fairly flat on the base and it's not held in by a peg, so you know this is all one piece. This may be a problem for you down the line. But maybe you could get away with hiding it somehow. Just have her standing in a pool of blood or something. Then you wouldn't have to worry about it. That being said, it does look good. But if you're rebasing, this is going to be a problem. Not much to say about a dog. Fuck dogs. Consistently the worst enemy type. Oh yeah, let's just put him in the game. Why? Because I fucking hate people. Alright. 2 can play at that game, cunt. I really like these small armor details right there on the skirt. I like that. I like this guy. And you get 4 of them too? Man, this game's spoiling me. Ooh, I forgot this fucker's name. I just saw it too. Yes, Beast-Possessed Soul. I knew that. I knew that. I like his pose. Something about it's kind of goofy, but I like it. Pretty simple mini, mostly just fur texture. A little bit of a gap at the top of the head like Vicar Amelia had, but I mean, you can hide it pretty easily with black paint or even just fill it. It's pretty easy. Opening up the second piece of plastic, and we got rats, boys. We got rats. Damn. I don't remember their eyes being so big and fucking goofy like that. And he's just missing an entire chunk of flesh out of his thigh. Poor dude. Rat had a hard life, guys. And then I fucking dropped them! Alright. More fucking dogs. These spikes up here are actually more durable than I expected. This one's a little flimsy, but that's kind of to be expected with a piece that long. But that's a nice surprise. Even the weapon in his mouth is fairly durable. Huh. I'm impressed. Although it's another one of these weird bases. I don't know if this is a common base type. I just haven't seen this very often. Is it common? I'm not sure. Let me know. Next within arm's reach, the big boy. I always thought he had kind of a goofy shape. I had a friend refer to him once as the killer fleshlight, and I was like, dude, no, don't put your dick in there, please. This is another solid looking mini. I noticed there's a little bit of the assembly gaps left over in the leg joints. Kind of noticeable. Although I guess at a distance and, you know, painted up, you probably won't see it. I feel like most of the gaps I'm pointing out are just because it's all gray. But once you throw some, you know, color on there, it'll probably be a lot less noticeable. I really like the tail. These details are nice and sharp. The skin looks very good. The fleshlight, ribbed for your pleasure. Good mini. I like this one. And not just because I can throat fuck it. Next up, whoopah! Giant fucking centipede thingy. Oh, okay. This one has some kind of bumpy textures on its leg. I know I'm saying dry brush a lot of it, but like, really, that's gonna look good with a dry brush. I mean, that technique is pretty much like spot on for 80% of the textures you're gonna find in these boxes. I like his little tongue. Alright, next up, Mr. Kill. Alright, his name's not Mr. Kill, but I mean, his hands have been replaced by blades, so you know what his profession is at a glance. Really like the candles on his back. Although they're kind of comedically large candles, especially when you put it next to a hunter. Like, these look like those candles, like those Yankee candles that like everyone fucking hates getting as a gift. But you have to kind of like, oh, you got me a candle, thanks. Oh, I love it, it's great. And then you put it in your closet and you forget about it till like November. And then you give it to your cousin for Thanksgiving or some shit. You know what I mean. At least I hope you know what I mean. Okay, so I know I've been kind of pointing out the assembly gaps as I go along. And most of them so far I've said, you know, this isn't a problem. This is a fairly noticeable gap right up on the shoulder. Like, if you're going to fill any gap in all four of these boxes, this is the one. That one is noticeable. You can see it from a distance. Other than that, I like Mr. Kill. And his smaller cousin. Not quite up there, you know, he hasn't replaced his hands, but, you know, he'll get there. A little bit of excess on the cape, but otherwise, that is a very, very nice surface to paint on. You can have a lot of fun there, especially if you have an airbrush. Lots of big, flat spaces to really get a nice gradient on. All of it's all molded in sharp. The recesses are nice and deep. The end of the hair looks a little melted. See that little shine right there? And the last mini we're going to be looking at. Now this looks really fun to paint. On pegs, you can rebase it. All that. Like I was just saying about the other cape down there, kind of applies to this one as well. Really nice, deep recesses. There's a bit of a shawl effect right there. The face sculpt is painted onto the veil. So that gives you a little bit of an opportunity to like do some clear fabric if you wanted to. I'm not that good, so I probably won't, but chances there. And then, you know, slather on a healthy glob of blood on the entire thing, because that's Bloodborne, baby. But yeah, that's all 4 of those expansions I'll be looking at for the day. Maybe down the maybe somewhere down the line, I'd consider picking up more of these Bloodborne sets. No plans for that currently, just because I have so much stuff laying around that I could be painting. But if I happen to find one of these in retail, or, you know, hey, this has got a boss I really like, I'd probably pick it up. In general, I can't speak mechanically because I haven't played the game yet, but in the box, everything is, which is something I never thought I'd be saying about Bloodborne, but everything is very colorful. Look at these map tiles, for instance. They're blues and oranges, as opposed to the game, which is just like varying shades of like diarrhea gray. But this, very colorful. Everything on the cards and whatnot, the detailing on all of this is very nice. Old parchment look. Some screenshots from the game. Some of this looks like original artwork. It all looks, it's very, 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 very looking good. It looks really good. But I think that's everything I have to say about this unboxing. I'm a very big fan of a lot of the miniatures in here. If you are going to buy this game just for the miniatures, I think the retail price is, I don't know if they've picked one yet. If they did, I'll put it like right here. But if you're going to buy this game just for the miniatures, and it's not like 200 bucks or some shit, I'd say it's worth it. I got everything in here for 100 bucks because I was backer on Kickstarter, which I normally don't do, but I knew I would like these miniatures, and I do. I very much enjoy these minis. So I bought it for that, and I'd say I got my money's worth. Otherwise, I have no complaints what's in this box. Everything looks great. The minis are beautiful. I really don't have much more to say, and I think I can feel myself starting to ramble about the most inane shit. So before I do, I'm going to go ahead and stop myself. I think. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say. Nothing immediately coming to mind. Bloodborne board game. It looks great. Don't know how it plays yet. I'll report back on that in the future. Everything in the box looks great. Not sure how to store any of this besides the core game. Yeah. Thank you for watching.